Hello, welcome to Airing It Out. I'm Josh.
And I'm Jonas.
And we're here with the Easter Bunny today. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Yeah.
Sorry, just fixed my chair.
Just fixing your chair.
So
no leaning.
No leaning.
No fun.
No rocking. But we are rocking.
What?
Yeah,
like
no.
the rock that's rolling down the hill.
Yeah,
welcome
Easter
to our
puns.
new Christian channel.
Okay.
Okay. No, yeah, so we fought in in this episode.
We're recording this on Easter Sunday. That's why
It's Easter Sunday. It might be up on Easter Sunday if I get my act together.
Pushing it out, yeah. Hey.
Yeah, why not?
You never know.
Yeah, no, so we're going to be talking a little bit about how we made the recreation of Mouth of Sauron.
Yes, because that's our latest creation, production, if you want to call it.
Yes.
Yeah, we had some fun. We had a couple of days of fun shooting that.
It's about three days of work, definitely. 3 shooting days.
Yeah.
Not all day on the last day, just some touch-ups.
No, I mean, that definitely has to be said. Like, 3 days of work means definitely shorter days. Like, if
in fairness, the editing together took a while.
A while, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we can get straight
we're gonna get into. And in terms of other topics that we might drift onto, they'll all be in the timestamps below if you want to check them out. And do subscribe.
Yes.
So you keep up to date.
No, I mean, that makes our lives a whole lot easier because we don't have to pester you on Facebook.
Exactly.
With all the messages. You can just click the bell icon and you'll get the message automatically.
Every day. And then we don't have to keep spamming you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's for you, for me, if that's the thing.
From you, for me, to you.
Yeah. For everyone, you know, it's positive. Do it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's enough of that. Goodness.
But yeah, no. So I think we'll just get into like how we got the idea behind it.
I mean, how did you get the idea? Because like as always,
my idea.
His idea.
Yes. So we were just talking about this. I come up with all the great ideas, but don't have the. I don't want to say skill set, but definitely there's some things lacking to be able to pull everything off myself. Which is why I keep you around.
It would be kind of sad if you could pull everything off yourself, because then you just
what's
would.
the point in... Yeah,
why would I exist then?
Yeah, in fairness, I think we needed 2 people for that.
Yeah,
they definitely...
I mean, 2 people was already quite
there's stuff where...
staffed.
Yeah, a couple would more be handy. But no, I thought it'd be kind of funny to do. So we had our... Jerry telling everyone to stay home video a week or 2 ago now. Not that anyone stayed home, but that's fine. But yeah, so I thought it'd be funny to do like some of our favourite film scenes, and if you've also caught up of our banter section in the playlist, there's a scene of us doing the Anakin scene at the end of episode 3 that we did refer to in another podcast, and I thought it'd be fun to do that with Jerry and kind of combine the 2.
Yeah.
And that is one of our favourite scenes from Lord of the Rings, which is one of our favourite movies.
Yeah.
And it would work with Jerry because we can make his mouth move because it is just the shots of his mouth.
It's just the mouth, yeah.
So I was like, yeah, okay, I agree, we can make this work.
I mean, we have to say Jerry is a talented actor, very fabulous at what he does. He's a real artist, and so yeah, I mean, it would be just a shame not to show that and share it with you guys. And so
no, and definitely it's something. I mean, yeah, we didn't do podcasts for a couple of days, but it kept us busy. It was really good fun to do.
Yeah, I hope you guys had fun watching all our crazy stories as well as the actual thing then. And definitely let us know if there's something off. We've had some good chats with people who are like, oh, there's something that's slightly off in this shot, and we're like, yeah, but actually it's because it's so accurate. And
so there's errors in the actual, so we did it like shot for shot. We edited it on top of the actual scene, so it is perfect. But there's scenes where like the mouth of Sauron goes left, and then in the next shot he's looking right. Yeah. And I felt so bad putting that together because I was like, well, that's wrong. It feels wrong. Like, it's horrible to actually like slow it down that much.
Wrong. Yeah.
But it actually, even ours, when it's together, it works really well. So definitely like you can get away with a lot.
Yeah.
And of course, for you fellow filmmakers out there, you can see that you can get away with quite a lot of editing trickery.
Yeah. No, but I think that was one of our first decisions.
Wine still.
Skipping a couple. No, but one of our first decisions was to make it as accurate as possible. I mean, and then have like the creative freedom within that. You know, doing all the characters and doing it shot for shot. So we're editing, like we're trying to do exactly the same framing with like the characters, also what's in the background.
Because I think it was the first time we had to change a lens, and we had it all set up, and then I was kind of looking at it, we were both like, it's not the same, and it was that kind of, okay, let's change lens, let's make it actually perfect. As
high, low quality.
Yeah, and that includes stuff like, so Legolas's bow kind of disappears from behind him in the actual film, and stuff like that is just like, okay.
Just like details that are that you wouldn't notice if you just like watch it like
I mean,
that.
I've seen those films at least 20 times now, and I've never spotted the errors that when you watch it frame at a time, you're like,
yes. Yeah, so like, I mean, one thing while editing, we exported this
6 times.
6 times?
6
And the last time was only because it seemed like there was, our edit was off by a frame, but it wasn't actually that. It was that the last frame of the original footage is like a fade from Frodo
into
like fading into I guess
Aragorn. Yeah. Which I accept, like on the editing software, I'm like sitting there going frame to frame, and like, it's not there. It doesn't exist.
It's such a short fade.
And then you render it and you watch it and you're like, it's there. It's definitely there. Like, you paused it on it and I'm like, the frame exists there, but it was just because it was on the Frodo bit. It just fading into it, so it faded into Aragorn and then, well, I guess my face. Yeah. And I was like, something's gone.
So you could
wrong.
See ever so slightly.
That's which crazy. Was annoying. There was, I mean, admittedly, the other 4 attempts were just me being. So we had one that I will not for Aragorn somehow in editing had gotten moved to like halfway through our talk at the end. Oh. Which is just, I was sitting listening to it, I'm like, how did that happen? But it's because when I deleted the rest of like the scene. So if you watch the Amazon clip, the YouTube clip of the actual scene. Yeah. So we cut off all the start stuff there. Because there's just far too many characters, it'd be impossible. And we dragged it back, and for whatever reason that line didn't move. So that was a render mishap and stuff like that. But I think like
muting separate lines that didn't get rendered afterwards.
What?
When you muted some of the audio tracks.
Oh, yes, I muted one of the audio tracks, so we listened to it with just random stuff. The music was really hard to fade in, actually. So we wanted to get, like, that punch at the end for, like, that hero shot with the light and the wind.
Yeah.
But we didn't want it, like, instant loud, because that's quite jarring. And then it needs to, like, fade in, fade out.
Yeah.
And then if the music's there, we needed to raise the I will not's volume.
Yeah.
Stuff like that was...
So many little things. You wouldn't believe, like... I let Josh do the editing.
Yeah,
but like coming in, it's just the screen full of markers of like.
Yeah, so every cut was a mark. Cuts. There was over 80.
That's incredible.
So that's 3 minutes.
I'm so glad I didn't actually, because I started, silly me, I started making a list of every single shot there was. So it was like starting with the group, a wide shot, whatever, and like I think I got it.
You got far. There was like 2 pages of stuff. Well, I was just doing other stuff. I think I was putting new playlists in the YouTube channel actually, which you can check out now.
Hey.
A little hint of what's to come. But yeah, so I was doing that, and then I came through, and you're looking at this 2-page list of shot angles and stuff. And I'm like, why?
Yeah, because I was trying to plan this. Saying like, okay, we need a medium close-up of Gandalf, and then we need a close-up of Gimli, and if you want to know what that is, just watch them.
Yeah.
No, but then I also noticed that one of the medium close-ups of Gandalf is not the same as the other medium close-up of Gandalf, because we have Legolas in the background of one, Legolas and Gimli, and in the other one, Legolas is actually behind Gandalf, so they're completely different setups.
I think the only characters that had the same setup were Merry and Pippin.
Yeah.
Who had definitely done all their shots.
But that's like...
Well, Éomer's one shot, yeah. But they were, I think, because they were filmed else at another time, they probably just sat them down in front of a camera and they did all their lines.
Yeah, probably.
Whereas like Aragorn and Gandalf, and even the Wife of Sauron, are filmed all over the place. But yeah, so I came in and was like, why don't we just film it with a laptop with the scene there and just copy it?
Just do it live.
Like, just watch it. I've never seen your face drop. Just like,
I was
You
quite
could've-
annoyed.
Yeah, you were like, why didn't you say it before? I'm like, I did. I was like, I definitely.
To be
meant to do
fair,
that.
we did miss. Like, we shot everything.
We missed one shot.
We thought we shot everything, and we missed a shot. And I was like, that probably would not have happened if I actually. I was like, it's all good practice, you know. To
Yeah.
create a shot list is
It's
very
definitely-
important. If
yes,
you actually.
Well, I was
write
in
a
editing,
script.
and I was like looking at the Gandalf scenes, and I was like, did we shoot this one? And you came through. I'm like, no.
I don't remember shooting this.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But
no,
no,
it was good fun.
It was very good fun, and I think like even another thing we decided very early on. I think we filmed maybe 3 shots,
Mm.
and then decided that we're gonna match the.
Lips like
Yeah,
lip
yes.
sync it.
No. The black bars
Oh
letterboxing.
yeah.
I forgot what it's called. Aspect ratio.
Yeah.
So like the top and bottom of the screen, it's about here and here,
Yeah.
are cut to
Ooh, yeah.
black.
We got
black
we got some guidelines on our screen, so
Yeah,
the screen
luckily.
itself is still bigger, but there are some lines that tell us where exactly it ends. Which is,
Yeah.
I mean, it's really handy, but also it takes some getting used to that you actually look at them and not the entire screen.
Yeah, it'd be
because
nice if the screen could black
actually-
out for
actually
you.
blacks
'Cause,
it out, yeah.
Yeah, you're looking at stuff and you're like, oh, I think I got it. There's a couple times, because I had to film when you were acting,
Mhm.
and I'm... Behind the camera is not my... In fact, in front of the camera is not my place either. It's definitely something... I mean, we had a cameraman for our film that we actually made and stuff. Like, it's not my area of expertise at all.
No, it's
I'm-
definitely a skill. Like,
Yeah. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, I think I got it, but I'm not sure where those lines work. You get distracted by something.
I mean,
Um,
even for me, that's like, there are so many things you have to think about while looking at your screen. Like, is the framing right? In terms of like, do you have those lines correct? In terms of, is the person that I'm recording in the right position? You know, it's the thing like, oh, is his face in the center of the frame, or is it
Yeah.
slightly off to the left, to the right? Am I getting the right angle of the face? Like, is it?
Yeah, because that's something I
Straight
like, looked at. I
on
was
or-
like, the height's perfect, and then I completely forgot to check like how wide the shot was.
Yeah.
It's like the one with it's Merry when he hides behind Eomer.
Mm-hmm.
Eomer is actually half of the frame,
Yeah.
despite like
at
just his
least.
body. In fact,
Yeah.
it was the shirt we used. It was just like there to there.
Mm.
But like trying to get all that in, while of course we couldn't have someone be Eomer because
Mhm.
there's only 2 of us. So it's like, okay, we need to like move that over
Yeah.
and get it all figured out.
Yeah.
It's definitely
No, it's a lot to think about, and then to remember to also take focus. So stuff
Yeah.
doesn't focus. I know there's some shots that are iffy.
They look okay.
They look
I don't
okay.
think anyone noticed unless
I
we
don't know,
tell them.
YouTube with like 720p.
1080p we filmed that in.
Yeah, we filmed it in, but
Ugh.
I don't know if you'll get that.
No, so you can still... So yeah, if you're
You
not
have to
keeping
do
up, you can manually increase YouTube's video quality, but they've dropped what it'll automatically go to during the coronavirus thing, just to lower bandwidth usage.
Mhm.
But it means people that are in the know, like you, know to turn it up. So even this, it'll probably not be automatically 1080p, but
You can make it
you can make it
if you want to see us in full HD.
full HD. Although excitingly,
Yes.
very soon,
Yes.
these will be in 4K.
We can actually talk about that.
We could, yeah, I
At
think
the
we will.
end.
But okay, yeah, we'll get to that.
Oh yeah.
Remind us.
Yes.
But yeah, so what,
Remind us, like,
from
yeah.
the future. No, yeah, but we figured out a way to get our podcast up in 4K.
Yeah.
Very easily.
Very easily. That's our new plan for the
that's-
future. Our new project.
No, well, we'll get onto it. Yes, in
Anyway.
terms of filming this boy though,
Yeah.
it was fairly easy. We did all of Jerry's scenes in a day.
Yeah, we did those first, just
Yeah.
to see how that worked, if it works, if we needed to do some reshoots.
Yeah, and the miniatures as
sort of
well, actually. So all of the
Yeah.
zoomed out shots we did.
Uh,
All of them.
Yeah.
Went,
I think, like, the cropping really helped with Jerry, because obviously we were like,
yeah.
can we have him be the mouth of Sauron? Because obviously he can't move his lips by himself. He's very...
Yeah. But definitely would have been it was the funniest character for him to be.
Yeah, for sure.
By far.
But yeah, so we had you moving his lips, but like just the way you could position your hands on his snout,
Yes.
and the way we can like cropped the
hands out.
aspect ratio. Yeah, just meant that we could get them out of shot.
Yeah, and the good thing about in fact, the advantage of the aspect ratio was because we can put the black bars kind of wherever we want.
Yes.
So if the hands were ever so slightly further up, say, we can just drag the whole frame up.
Yes.
So that it's still covered.
There's a lot of trickery.
That makes sense. Or drag it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Drag it down,
since we are shooting bigger, like a bigger screen than we're actually showing in the end, we have that wiggle room to go up and down of what we're actually
So we can drag
showing.
the top of the frame down and actually cut more of the bottom rather than the other way around. Which is actually what we did as well for the scene where I'm on the horse, which is a stool. Because looking at it, I was like, it would be cool to not see the stool for sure.
Yeah.
So I just dragged everything down a little bit just to cover the stool, and you can't tell. But yes, little things like that I realized. And it's cool as well because, like, I mean, we used DaVinci Resolve to edit the film that we did. Yeah. That is coming out soon.
Yes.
Mid-May.
Getting there. Getting by.
Because it was easier for our cinematographer to do the color grading on DaVinci Resolve. So we decided that's easier for him, and then that's cool.
Let's do it.
But I have Vegas.
Yes.
Which is a nicer editing software for sure.
It is, yeah.
It's much more powerful as well, so the playback is all nice and smooth. And just it's got everything that we need on it.
Yeah.
So we started using that for the podcast. I think we started on episode 4. Was the first one recorded on Vegas? Vegas?
Yeah, pretty early on.
But it was nice to actually do some more camera trickery within the editing software. It meant I got to use it more and play around rather than just playing for the sake of playing, because the podcast does require a lot of
no, that's true.
A lot of playing. So that was fun.
Yeah. I don't know. I do wonder why people came up with the different aspect ratios. Like what's the reasoning behind like cinema being whatever it is, 2.35 whatever,
some random number.
Maybe it is just because it's in the end it's easier to
I wonder it gives
do
that
some
better
extra editing
room,
afterwards.
I was looking at cameras and stuff, which we've been doing lately. But the advantage of like 8K recording, even though the number of people that have an 8K TV is probably countable on one hand.
Yeah.
They're like 60 grand for a TV. No one's buying that.
No.
But if you're shooting in 8K, you can crop in.
Yeah.
And you've still got a 4K image.
Yeah.
You can crop in quite aggressively.
Like probably 30%.
Yeah, so it means we could be filming like all the way up here and just grab the screen grab, so you don't need to worry too much about where the camera's positioned as much.
Yeah.
Which definitely, again, gives you a little bit of wiggle room.
A lot more to play with, yeah.
Which, there's an advantage there, whether or not that's enough of an advantage to justify the hideous price of 8K cameras.
No, but it's like, it gives you a lot of, just like, in terms of convenience, like if you do have a boom mic that just dips in like this, the camera, like that shot isn't ruined, and the camera operator doesn't have to like do a weird dodge to
it's like, okay, take the whole thing again. Or if you're doing it in post and you're like,
it's so easily fixed. Yeah.
No, so it is
maybe. Yeah, but I don't know. It was quite interesting also to work through some things like trying to pick the right lens for a shot that you see. You know, when it's like you have complete freedom over what lens to choose, like how wide you want the shot to be. It's a different thing than like seeing what the shot is and trying to figure out
how to replicate the
what
shot.
lens they use then.
Especially some of them were like closer shots, and then we had to go further away with a different lens, which was quite it mentally takes a bit of
it's like the whole thinking that you have to do. But I think what really helped me is that you can tell how much, like in terms of the height of the head, I mean it's usually heads, like the height of the head you can really tell, like, oh, it's your forehead to your slightly below your chin, like your larynx, whatever. That's what you see usually on a close-up, or like medium close-up you can still see the shoulders, and that's fairly standard, and that you can do that on any given lens really, depending on how close and how far away you are. But what changes with the different lenses, with how wide they are, is having how much you see left and right of that person. Yeah. And I think that was the big telling thing, like how much do we actually see left and right of the face, and also then the deciding factor is like what lens
to use.
Because I for this camera only own 3 lenses. I mean, they do the
I
job.
think we got away with it for sure.
Yeah. I mean,
did you tell?
You tell us if we got away with it. No, we could definitely. I don't know. Could do with more. No, but I think they do the job, but it's still something to play with. Like I have a wide lens that we're using right now. It's
24mm.
Yeah, I mean, we don't. Do we want to get into that? I mean, it's actually a 12mm lens, but on a micro four third.
We might as well. People will enjoy the tech, and it's like if you don't like camera tech, skip along the timestamps.
Since I am using a Panasonic Lumix GH5, that's a micro four thirds sensor, and so the lens, like the focal length of the lens, which is 12mm on this one, gets doubled compared to a full frame sensor, which like the Sony Alpha 7 series use.
Everything.
Yeah, so on a full frame, which is like a sensor of 35mm, which corresponds to all the like film, like when you actually film on film. That's also 35mm. So yeah, that's why it's full frame, and you get the whole 1-to-1 focal length stuff. And since my sensor is smaller, that kind of changes stuff, and I have to.
What other lenses do you have?
I've got the 12mm, I got the 25mm, which corresponds to 50, and then a 45, which corresponds to a 90. So what I would really want is something like 7.5, because
for something lower.
That's a third. Yeah, that'd be between my 12 and 25, because that corresponds to 35, which is like a 50 is the most natural. 50mm is basically what you see with your eyes.
Okay.
Like obviously you have a much wider range, but like what you
see in focus.
Yeah, what you focus on is kind of the 50mm, and to be slightly under that, just like to have that slightly bigger range, see a bit more than that, would be nice, because the 12mm, 24mm stuff gets a bit warped on the edges already.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Fair.
Ever so slightly.
Just
or like it. Also, when you get very close with a face, it kind of like makes the face. It distorts it kind of.
So that's why on our film, we don't look 100% best, of course.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And our Mouth of Sauron film.
This is actually quite interesting. There are some videos out there that are like, it's the face. In the same, like it's always the same in the frame, like taking up the same space, but then at various focal lengths of like different lenses, and you can really tell like the wider the lens is, obviously the wider your face gets, and it gets like super round and wide, and then the narrower the lens is, the narrower your face gets, and it's so cool to go like back and forth.
So
and you're
like,
it's
are you dieting? You're like buying new lenses.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yes.
Well, exactly how it works. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's just such a funny thing to see your face go like.
Yeah, I think going back to like aspect ratios and stuff though, and like cinema traditions.
Yeah.
There's definitely a few that are interesting. I think so. Definitely, like, I mean, editing that together, it just seems silly because it's like. It's not like you're getting a wider image while it looks that way. It's like, well, they are, of course, recording what's here. Yeah. So you're still getting more image, even if you're recording, it looks wider because it's like letterboxed in. Yeah. Which is why I think, like, it is nice that I think TV shows, especially like Netflix's own shows, like The Witcher and Mandalorian stuff as well, are just the full TV is filled by an image, which is nice because it's like, I don't know, I find it a little bit more immersive. Well, it's not as pretty. So like looking at landscapes and stuff is definitely nicer. Yeah. It looks cinematic. Yeah. But like to be like, oh, I'm there, and especially the way these shows are now, they're so crisp and they're shot on incredibly expensive cameras that capture everything, and it's like, it is nice to just be like, I am there rather than I am watching something that is pretty and aesthetically pleasing. No,
obviously if you see the black bars, you're more likely to be like, oh, this is film.
Yeah. No, definitely.
That is interesting.
Because I definitely prefer it. I'm like, I would always opt for a full aspect, full frame. Which is another thing of like, why? So I've not upgraded my phone. I've got old phone here.
Old
But it's
phone.
well, it's like it's still got the bars and stuff. Whereas
On the top and the
notches have
bottom.
been along for a while. But I refuse because I watch quite a lot of YouTube on my phone. You know, if I'm on a bus or train or something, that's how I consume content, and sometimes even movies. I do have Lord of the Rings on my phone at all times in case I get stuck in an airport.
Yeah, that's actually very smart.
It's a go-to. I'm like, I've got 12 hours of my favorite film trilogy ready to go whenever. You know? So yeah, like, but I wouldn't get a notch because you'd have this cutout, you know,
like
or even a hole punch
camera.
like even that, like, it's just annoying. Like, why would that's so much worse than black bar? Then if you decide, because some of them you can bring in with software, but of course if you do that to a video, then everything goes down, and then it's like, well, you've not gained any screen. Yeah. You know, so I think a lot of like reviews for phones and stuff. So that's my hobby, is tech review. But it's like, oh, it's not that bad because obviously it's just at the top, it's with the bar, and I'm like, yeah, but as soon as you want to consume content, it's in the way. So I do think, like, well, you can watch The Irishman on your Apple Watch if you so desire. It's like, you are still better off on the TV.
I do, like, I would love to know if anyone has actually done that. Imagine how hideous that must be, like 3 hours staring at your watch.
Like, waiting for someone, you're like,
bad. That would be bad. Yeah.
Oh, man. But no, it's the same with frame rates. So even editing together our Mouth of Sauron thing, because we filmed that in 25 frames a second, which it's fine for stills and stuff and when people are moving, but I find if someone is moving and the camera is panning or tilting or whatever, there is just that a little bit choppy, and I was like, we could up it to 30, you know, or just a little bit more. Yeah,
I mean, that being said, there are two standards. Usually it's like a European standard and an American standard. So European is 25 frames per second, and American, they do 30. So if you double that and do slow motion, you have 50 and 60. If you shoot cinema, you usually go for like bang on 24 frames per second. But yeah, it's interesting to think about that, and then also like how smooth an image is, because like obviously screens go way beyond that.
Like I mean, this bad boy's 144 hertz and 165 overclocked, which is incredibly fast.
Far beyond.
But it's, and like phone screens now are 120 because it's just smoother. But the Hobbit and Gemini Man, the two that I know off the top of my head, were both filmed in 60 frames per second. Sadly, they're both terrible movies. The Hobbit has its charm for sure, but it's not in the same league. And Gemini Man, I didn't see. It's the one with Will Smith and Will Smith.
Twice,
I do love on the poster for that they have like just his name once, but him facing off against each other. I'm like, they missed a treat there to have his name twice. That would be hilarious. But
or just have his name like Will on one and Smith on the other.
I'd be so down. But like, I'd be curious to know what that looks like on like because that's not what makes those films not good at all.
No.
But if you've got a lot of like sweeping shots, like I mean The Hobbit does, I think it definitely helps with that. So it's just a little bit less jittery.
Yeah, I mean, it's same as like what lens to use, what looks most natural. If you have a higher frame rate, the motion is less blurry, and like a little bit of motion blur because of a lower frame rate looks a little bit more natural, because like if you don't always see everything super crisp with your eye, and so that's why most people like
it's
basically everyone
it's become
still goes for that. I do wonder if like people shoot in higher frame rates and then just
artificially will just cut every second frame. It's definitely, I know that my opinion on that is not the norm. That's definitely one of my more controversial film opinions. But like in terms of like film creation, like even I would shoot in 50 and just take every second frame then, because then you could do the film twice and just, I mean, without telling people the difference, show the film twice and be like, which one did you prefer? So it'd be so interesting to know. I don't know if you have the hard drives to shoot double the the footage, then I mean by all means go for it. I think a lot of people do actually, like, because they just have because they can
Why not?
Yeah.
Give yourself that leeway as well to shoot more and then be able to mess around with it afterwards. Cause
it's all leeway.
Yeah.
No, definitely. It would be interesting because especially like, I mean, video games are our other thing, and getting them as high a frame rate as possible is such a thing to reduce motion blur, but you're still getting motion blur at 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
Which is why I think it'd be interesting to know where that sweet spot for movies is, because I know 24 came from hand cranking film cameras. That's why that's the standard, because that's something that can be done repetitively.
Yeah, and it's also like that's when you stop noticing it being individual frames rather than it being
but it's interesting that carried on to digital cameras where we can go, I mean, we can shoot 300 frames per second if we really wanted to.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
yeah.
So, you know, there's something to be said for that? I think you'd be curious.
Interesting.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely, maybe worth playing around when we have some more hard drive space.
Yeah.
You can make a film twice.
Yeah, maybe onto some more creative decisions, because we talked about Jerry being our mouth of Sauron. We definitely thought about him taking up more roles.
Yes.
I think there are a lot, like Eomer doesn't say anything. He's literally in the thing for like a second. But yeah, we decided to do all the rest by ourselves.
Yeah. I think it was definitely funny with just him, and he comes out and he starts as obviously the Lindt chocolate Easter egg, and then you just get that cut to
Easter egg.
Easter bunny. Easter bunny.
It is an Easter egg.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Easter themed.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But no, like I think it was just funny to have that kind of boom, and then it's just him, and we don't need to worry about making the other characters talk, because of course they are all. Yeah. So then it's like, right, if you just do the ones that don't, then you've got Eomer, and then you could maybe do like, you know, Merry, where he's like, no. Yeah. And it's like, okay, but where do you draw the line?
No, I think it was a good decision, because then it's like very obvious, like that's his role, and that's what he's doing.
And then we did the character introductions on our Facebook and Instagram.
Yes.
So we did like a wee thing for each character as well, and he was the second last one that we did. So it was that kind of like, this is the scene that we're doing. And of course, once you know it's the mouth of Sauron, he's only in one scene, so that's the scene.
He dies pretty quickly.
He doesn't last long. But definitely, like, it was cool to be like, okay, we've got something cooking up. It's us and us and us and us, and then it's like, and Jerry's the star.
He is the star. Yeah.
And it keeps it funny.
We didn't, for those introductions, we also hadn't fully figured out the costuming yet, but we definitely had lots of fun, like, picking that stuff out. Because, like, obviously there are a couple of people with different hair colors, Legolas being blonde and Gandalf being, like, the white. And Gimli as well. Got my wig out for that again.
Yeah, Vicky the Viking.
Obviously,
classic.
gotta represent.
Yeah. It was like, we need a helmet for Gimli. It's like, we got Paul. Oh, we need a helmet for Merry, so we made one. Yeah. And then we edited Merry's helmet, so we did all of Pippin's scenes after. Yeah. So they actually have the same helmet. We just cut the nose bit slightly further up and brought the sides in to be more Gondorian. Yeah. Did all of that after, and then we're like, we need a helmet for Eomer.
Reduce, we were both reuse, like, recycle.
And you were like, I'll get the sieve. I was like, sure.
Sure.
It was definitely like,
we ran out of helmets. No, but it was also quite cool that we could reuse like the paper helmet for Merry and for Pippin, just because, I mean, it was pointy for Merry as well, even though his helmet isn't pointed, but you don't see it.
It's hot, and then we had a separate cone that was just cone for Gandalf that you held while you were...
that was fun. See, I was always holding the cone in my hand just off screen, but you could see like the little point.
The little point. It's just every time it was like up a bit.
Yeah, just a little bit higher.
That so, like, Gandalf goes through, you were sweating.
It was warm.
It was just a big blanket.
It's a huge blanket.
Yeah, it's humongous. And I mean, he's got most of the talking as well.
He's got a lot of lines.
So it's just like, sorry.
Trying to lip sync that. I don't know. I gotta practice that. Lip syncing is an art. You know?
I know.
I think it was you who said, like, you actually appreciate TikTok much more, even though we both don't follow any
I don't TikTok.
But, like,
there is definitely or even little things, so like there's the Faithless and Accursed.
Yes.
So and Accursed is not said,
Yes.
like by looking at Gandalf. But I was already having edited Jerry's bit together on the first evening.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, because I was filming Jonas, I was like, say the whole line, because it just gives us
Yes.
that leeway. Whereas if it's like, because the first couple you just stopped at faithless, you're like, oh, but you can't see it at a curse. And like, there's that tiny mouth motion he does.
Yeah,
and it gives us that, like, I can move it a couple frames that way, a couple frames that way if there's something wrong.
Yeah. It was so funny because I said like faithless, and I knew that obviously after that it cuts away, and you just looked at me like, do you not know the rest of the line? Because it was like, okay, let's do that again. I was like, but it was good. Like it was,
it was
like,
perfect. I'm a star.
and you were like, you did it wrong. I was like, no, I didn't do it wrong. It's like, do the entire line. But it makes sense. Yeah, I mean he opens his mouth. It could just be like breathing in, or it could be he actually says and a curse.
Yeah.
But they didn't use it for that.
Yeah, like presumably in the take they used it, but whether or not it's a breath open or an and, it's hard to tell. And it's like, if we just do it, we've got it, rather than like, let's not, we've done everything shot for shot, let's not half-ass it and just get perfect. There's the other thing, so like Gimli has his mouth open when he like growls, but he has so much beard that you can't tell.
Yeah.
So like the first one you're like, and I was like, open your mouth. You're like, I'm not opening my mouth. And I was like, yeah. But then it's like, do we copy it what the actor's doing or copy what it looks like?
Yeah.
There's definitely like decisions like that had to be made hard decisions.
Hard decisions. Yeah. I was so close to like deciding to grow more beard for this.
Yeah, we're like, we had this cooking up. We've been teasing it for days. Yeah. Let's just delay by a couple months.
By many months. I don't know.
Just like diet white for Gandalf.
I do wonder. Yeah. Just let's wait 80 years or something. Yeah. Incredible.
Like, I am Gandalf the White. It's like, it's not really relevant anymore, mate.
Yeah. Honestly, I think one of the hardest things for me was to do like the squinting of the eyes, because like I don't know how
he's got so much eye bag, I think.
Yeah, or like I don't know, it's just different
face muscles.
It just looks weird when I squint my eyes like that. But yeah, we still went for it.
We went for it.
And like the weirdness is also what makes it funny.
No, it was definitely like my first acting experience properly.
Yes.
And then we encountered many struggles. One of the main ones was there's a scene where Aragorn is looking at the camera like this. And so yeah,
that was brilliant.
So Jonas was standing opposite me on the camera.
Yes.
And I've got the screen, so the laptop's pointing me so I can replicate, and I do it. And you're like, it's the other shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, tilt the other shoulder down. And I was like, okay, so I'm like this, and I'm looking at the thing, and I'm like, but no, that's not right. You know, I'm looking at, I can see the viewfinder we've got, and you turn it around to point me. You're like, no, and you turn it back. You're like, no, you're definitely doing it
wrong. Your right
wrong.
shoulder, not your left shoulder.
And I'm like, no, but look, I'm looking at the screen, and I'm like, there's no way. So I'm like, right, okay, no, you go. So you came around, and we swapped positions. You're like, look, you dip your right shoulder, you look there, and I'm looking at the viewfinder facing me behind the camera, and Aragorn on the screen. I'm like, no, he's definitely, you're right. Yeah. So I go back and I do the tilt, and I'm like, but I look wrong now. And then, so you start explaining to me because the viewfinder is.
But I explained it wrong. I didn't. Yeah, I mean, yes, the screen on the camera, like.
But because you're like, it's not a mirror; it's a camera view, so it's the opposite.
That's not what I said though, because I didn't get it either. I was like, if you flip it around, the screen that you see.
But we didn't know that.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. It was like, because you're explaining to me from behind the camera that it's like it's not a mirror.
Yeah, you're not looking
in a mirror. It's the camera, which is why it's the opposite.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it. I'm like, but it's not the opposite. It's the same. It is a mirror. I drop my right shoulder here. My left shoulder on the camera drops.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but that's not.
Yeah.
What do you mean? And then I'm like, so I'm there, we swap positions again, you drop it, and I turn the screen round so that it faces behind the camera, and I was like, wait a second.
So they're super smart, these cameras.
Yeah.
And like, just as you turn, like, you can flip the screen 180 degrees.
Yeah.
So it faces both ways. And just as you turn it, so it's like facing forward.
Us, yeah.
So it's like, for the vloggers, they then see a mirror image of what they're doing, but if you flip it around, you actually see what the
camera input is.
And
which took us a very long time to figure out, because I was like, I don't know a ton about cameras. Like, I've got a good base knowledge, obviously, from this.
Yeah.
But like, I'm sitting there, and you're like, no, it's not a mirror. It's showing the camera, and I'm like, just gonna have to take your word for it because I feel like I'm losing my mind.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a second.
Yeah, that definitely took like 5 minutes of like, debating and like shit.
Oh man.
Woof. And
But-
you'd think that we study at university. Is
I
like,
know, shocking. But it's not something that you'd think about
No.
like at all because it's.
No.
I mean, the viewfinder just changes completely.
Yeah, but like since it also like goes from top to bottom when you flip it, so you're not heads down or whatever.
Oh
bottoms up
yeah.
or whatever. So like it does that flip, but it also does the left
The
to
side
right
to
flip.
side.
So it's so strange. It was really, but it was a revelation.
It was a revelation. Now we know.
Now we know.
And to be honest, my mind's talking about it. So if I drop my right shoulder while my left one drops there, I don't really understand. But it's a problem for
Yeah, I wonder.
editing me
Like
to figure out.
we should check if you can change it in the settings,
Yeah.
so like it doesn't become a mirror image when you flip it, but you can actually still.
See what the camera records. I don't
Yeah.
see why you'd ever want it to be a mirror image, to be honest. I guess it's a little bit less confusing if you're vlogging, like on
Yeah.
the go with a stick or something.
Oh, I guess it if it's like I want to point at Jerry, and Jerry's on my left side, I see it on the screen him being on my left side.
No, he's on your right.
But that's not how I think. I see
Oh, okay,
on the screen
yeah.
he's on my left side, and that's why I would use this hand.
Oh, to point at Jerry.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually that's true, because I would go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You know?
I don't know.
I don't know. I wouldn't think
I
like
don't-
what I
I've
see
no other-
flip that around, that would be my right shoulder, so I would go with
See,
my
I've got nothing else to base off, because I've only ever seen myself in a mirror.
in a
Because
mirror.
you can't see yourself live feeding it for a camera.
That's
Because it
true,
doesn't even
yeah.
let you.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to know what the difference would be.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's too hard for me to flip an image and that way in my head. I can't do it.
That's many flips.
It's too many. I can do side to side, but not both.
Yeah.
But
that
no,
was, that was fun though.
this is the last remnants of our Easter egg. Our neighbor downstairs was very kind and bought us an Easter egg.
Yes.
For just
Because
being
it's
amazing
Easter.
flatmates.
Oh yeah.
People, neighbors.
People. I mean, she's amazing.
Well, yeah, not really matter.
I guess.
Well, she moved in, and then the pandemic started, so we kept our distance. So.
Yeah. I was just thinking, like, it's probably we didn't do anything to deserve this, but the fact that we didn't actually do anything also speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't do anything bad.
Anything bad.
Which is nice. Like, thank you for sure.
Yes.
I don't think she'll watch this, but
I doubt it. She might be a secret YouTube fan. You never know. Yeah. Although it's interesting, so I saw, I guess, a mind map of how people have started increasing their consumption of content during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And it's amazing because it's like Gen Z and millennials
Yes.
are like all over everything except broadcast TV and
Yeah.
like paper news.
Yeah.
And like the boomers are all just those two.
Wow.
It's like, it does just show there's a complete like hard
That's
split.
incredible.
I don't know what the one between the two is.
I would
Gen
say our
X,
parents
Y,
aren't,
Z.
though. Because
Um,
they all support what we do, and so they're...
of course, my parents are pretty good. They watch a lot of like digital TV, so like
Mhm.
Prime and Netflix and stuff.
My mom is loving YouTube. Well, let's say
Yeah.
not necessarily YouTube, but she just watches all the American late shows on YouTube.
Yes.
So like, she's like, have you seen the new late show?
It's
Late
like Stephen
show?
Colbert.
And I was like, I know exactly what she's talking about. But no, I haven't.
To be fair, I think the only person I know that consumes like terrestrial TV
Mhm.
is my sister,
Oh,
who's I guess early 30s.
yeah.
She watches like normal TV that you have to pay an extortionate amount for.
I feel like just there are hardly any new like people that newly get into.
Yeah, but I'm like, there's no
Broadcast
shows I want to
TV.
watch on broadcast TV, and the
Or
shows
you
I
can
do
get
want to
them.
watch are at like 7 o'clock on a Sunday, and that is when that show is. I'm like, I don't have that kind of. Like, I don't want to. It's too much commitment. I want to put TV on when I eat dinner, and I don't want to have to eat dinner at a certain time. I want to eat when I'm hungry.
I mean, most shows are also for broadcast TV. You can watch them online now, so
Yeah.
you do even have that possibility.
No, definitely. It's interesting.
No,
Consumption
I
of
mean that's why
content.
we're getting into YouTube.
Yes, which speaking of, I think we should talk about because
Yes.
we remembered. Thanks for reminding us.
Yes.
So we were looking at a couple ways to make our whole setup a little bit tighter,
Yes.
easier to manage, and unable to shoot in 4K.
And I think how this whole thing started to also live stream.
Yes, so we want to be able to live stream from this setup, which currently we can't do.
No, we cannot.
No, which is a shame, because it would be nice to do like Q&As and actually interact with you.
Yeah, with you.
So yeah, we picked up a wee thing that connects the camera to the computer directly.
Yes.
So we're not recording to SD cards anymore, which means we don't have to worry about them not being full, which has never been an issue before. If you remember that episode.
Episodes. Multiple, I have to say.
I mean, it is hard to remember because we don't want to delete the footage on the SD card until the episode's up.
Yeah.
Just in case something goes wrong in a hard drive or something.
Well, there's nothing worse than just...
You're like, oh, okay, that's gone.
Because we have to say that has happened where... Like, you use footage and then you just delete it. I think you came through one saying, like, I wanted to delete something in the program, but I actually deleted...
The file.
The file.
Oh, man, was that for the actual film?
No, not the actual film, for one of the episodes.
Podcast.
Yeah.
Oh.
But then it was still on the SD card, so, like...
Oh, you're right. Yeah, no, so that was really early on.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do remember that. I was like, did I? I was like, no, yeah, I did.
No, but that's why it's nice to have it on the SD card for as long as possible.
Yeah, but this will enable us to shoot straight to the computer.
Yeah.
We've got ourselves a nice big 8TB hard drive, so we're able to shoot in 4K.
Big boy.
Yeah, which would be nice. And it also means we'll be able to use it kind of like how a webcam works, but on a DSLR.
Yes.
So we'll be able to live stream on Instagram, YouTube, you name it, You name Facebook Live, everyone's favorite streaming platform. No, we're set up for...
I was like, we haven't talked about that. So yeah.
We're not doing that. But no, obviously we're on YouTube and we can do YouTube Live, and then we can actually turn, like, we just save that live stream into a video.
Yeah.
So it can stay up, which is cool. So we're all set up for that, which will be nice.
Yes. And from there we kind of got thinking, I don't know, that started some wheels turning.
Yeah.
Looking into other stuff.
Well, we can talk about it. So we thought it'd be nice to have a camera for this.
Yeah, I mean, just to have a setup that we don't have to mess with at all anymore. So, like, once it is set up, we only click on, record, and we're
actually, we don't even need to record. So the way the computer link works is it just records what the camera sees. So it doesn't even need to record. In terms of, like, the computer does the actual processing. Yeah. So it's just a screen grab, essentially.
Yeah.
Which is really clever, and it means you can go on for as long as your hard drive allows, which 8TB will be plenty long.
Plenty.
So, yeah, but we thought it would be nice just to have that, and obviously we use this camera for a lot of other stuff. And also the batteries we need to change out and make sure they're charged, and that kind of convenience. Yeah. And the tripod that this camera is currently on doesn't actually work as a tripod.
It's somehow, like, I don't even know when this happened, but one of the clasps for, like, holding down the leg broke, and so it extends to a certain height, but, like, the very last bit, one of the legs just doesn't it does extend, but
it doesn't stay there, it just slides back down.
And that's dangerous. I don't want to have more than 1,000 pounds worth of equipment sitting on top of the Tower of Pisa.
Yeah, literally, you can watch. I mean, we had to use it for a couple of our shots.
Yeah.
And the whole camera's just like, because that was another thing, actually, just going back to that briefly, there was a couple of shots where obviously, like, Gandalf's hand goes down Pippin's shoulder, so filming that while...
That was one, and I think the only other one was I Will Not. Because that was me holding the torch and the wind
machine.
I was and then, like, there, like,
record.
That was actually good fun.
It went really well.
No, but then I don't want to see my camera sliding off.
No, of course not. You want it to be set. But this is fine on this setup because, like,
there's only one leg.
The leg on the table is on its shortest setting, so there's no problem at all. But we thought, okay, so if we have to buy, like, an actual tripod, we can just relegate this one to live stream duty.
Yeah.
And then it'd be nice to have a camera that runs off power, like an AC.
Yeah, not battery.
It can literally just be plugged in. We never have to worry about it. Then it is literally a case of on, let's go.
Yeah.
Sadly, the only cameras that do that without some trickery are Sony cameras.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a feature that you would usually need because, like, most cameras are to be used or, like, are used in, like, various settings. So, like, you want to be mobile.
I think, like, even, like, so they're able to charge off of, like, a Anker power bank,
Mm-hmm.
which is nice because they're like huge, you get like 20,000 milliamps.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to like put that on and then just strap it to like the gimbal
Yeah.
would be handy.
Yeah.
Compared
that's
to
cool.
batteries are both expensive and hideously low charging and slow charging as well.
Yeah.
So like they don't give you a lot of power
Mm-hmm.
and they take ages to charge back up.
Yeah. No, I think that's also a problem with. I think Sony has not the best reviews for that. For
their battery
example,
life is
so
terrible,
you need like
yeah.
at least 3,
Yeah.
and then you want double that so you can have them charging while you're using the other ones, and then you're running
sure.
around with like 6,
Yeah.
7 batteries, and that's kind of
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it's not ideal. But it's interesting that, so like even this camera that we're using, the GH5, does support charging by USB, but only when the camera's off.
Yeah.
Because it charges the actual battery, whereas the way the Sonys work is they run off AC power and just ignore, like they pretend there's not a battery there. Which the only way to do that on this is to put in like a dummy battery that connects in, which are like 150 quid.
Yeah.
Which is not worth paying for.
No.
So yeah, it is interesting. But so we're looking at that just to make this like totally easy, but
Yeah.
maybe in the future.
Maybe in the future.
But no, it's interesting to get into that and then looking at lenses and what's compatible with what.
Exactly. Yeah. No, because I mean they all have their own. This is crazy. Like that, every camera brand has their own mount, so you can't use the lenses that I have right now for the Panasonic. You couldn't use them for the Sony cameras unless you have like an adapter, and that's
Hassle
a pain.
and,
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if you. I don't know. We went through a whole process of like, if we do get a second camera, do we want to get a camera that we can also use for shooting?
Yep.
So does it have to have those kinds of qualities? And I was like, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves, because hardly ever on a like really professional film set do you actually shoot with 2 cameras. Like that usually is done when, I don't know, when you do a lot of improvising, so you capture the moment, or when you have to produce a lot, so like daily soaps, they shoot with multiple cameras just because they need to have that turnover. But yeah, I was like, 2 cameras also means 2 camera operators. I don't know. Yes.
So, I mean, 2 everythings. Definitely. But then also, like, do you just go completely the other end? Like, do you get like the cheapest 4K camera money could buy, and a lot of them had like overheating issues, or like the actual camcorders. I mean, there's no lens change at all, so like what you have is what you get, which isn't quite what we're looking for, because none of them had one as wide as this, or were they wider? No, they're all tighter.
They weren't quite as wide. Yeah,
they're all quite as wide, which is nice because we've got our Era Out Films logo. We got Jerry and this
Jerry.
guy. You know,
I'm not off.
not off the edge.
No, but I'm just
you couldn't
right
get
now,
much tighter without cutting off something. Which,
but it's always interesting because you get into like, you dig through all this stuff, and there's a lot out there, like in terms of like cameras alone, and then we're like, okay, if we kind of decided on one camera, and then we're like, what kind of lenses could we get for that? And then like, so much out there as well. It's crazy. It is crazy, but exciting. Like to plan for the future, but also I don't know. Just in terms of for you guys, I guess it's what to expect is live streams in the future, and
not long. I mean, the stuff that we've got arrives in a week. Yeah, within the week.
And so we'll definitely keep you up to date and give you guys an actual update when we're ready, so you can all tune in and I know, chat with us live.
Yeah, no, so we're going to be filming a wee channel trailer thing.
Anyways,
that kind of breaks down the different areas of the channel. But I guess, I mean, if you've made it 54 minutes into this video, then I reckon that we can give them a sneak peek.
Maybe sneak peek.
So we're doing different sections. We're going to have the banter section, which is for stuff like the Jerry... COVID. The Jerry kind of video, stuff like that. Stuff that's a bit more fun.
Funny stuff, because we're not funny. So we got a funny section. Yeah,
we got a funny section for just that. We've got our Airing It Out.
Yes.
Which is your regular podcast show where we talk about a whole host of things, be it our movie, our opinions on the stuff that's coming out.
Yeah.
Get into tech, cameras and stuff. Might even sneak into laptops if anything comes out that's worth talking about. Maybe video games. Who knows? The world's our oyster. And also, if you've got any questions for us, that's where we'll answer your questions.
Absolutely,
and if you've got any, like, I mean, we did a Would You Rather, stuff like that will be here. We've got our retrospectives.
Yeah, so if you talk about one specific
thing,
topic, like, usually, it has been either...
They're all movie franchises
or directors.
Yes.
So far. But yeah, that's like if we talk about one whole topic. So if you aren't interested in that topic, that's easy for you to skip.
Yeah.
Although you shouldn't.
Of course.
Obviously.
Not. But that's where, like, the topic of the video is all we talk about, rather than just a kind of a sneak peek.
Yeah.
And then we'll have our live streams for airing it out. So that'll be chats like this, but live.
Live, yeah.
And then we've got gaming it out, which is
coming up.
Yeah. Well, it's up already, technically. But yeah, so that's going to be just what we do in our free time, and we're just going to live stream some video games when we play together.
Yeah.
Which is most days during quarantine, anyway.
Yeah. I mean, we did talk about, like, the World Health Organization has actually recommended
gaming. So
we are trying to be responsible citizens, staying at home, following their instructions, really.
Yeah, and technically gaming counts as sport as well now, so that's exercise.
Although, that being said, do we have to then stick to the 1 hour of sports?
No, I reckon, because it's inside, we can do
sports.
more sports than just an hour.
Okay.
But that's definitely our most different content, so if you're here for our film knowledge, don't feel bad if you miss them, but if you like just our general chit-chat, then you'll get some of what we actually talk to each other like in real life when we're not following a script.
It's going to be so hard.
Yeah,
So there's going to be a lot of slip-ups, I presume.
Yes. I mean, some of us have potty mouths.
Potty mouths.
Yeah.
Some of us.
But that's fine, because it's live. So, hey!
Hey! I was thinking that yesterday, though, because, like, normal speech, sure, it's very easy to avoid. But in gaming, like, there's a lot of things that go wrong.
You're concentrating, and it goes wrong, and just
it goes wrong.
What comes out, comes out.
Yeah.
I did look, you can, like, macro a button to just have, like, a beep, which I'm tempted to do just so I have the excuse and be like...
Oh, that's good.
Get some sweating in. Which, I was actually going to say, speaking of macros, and of course it's here the whole time, I might acknowledge it while we're talking about editing.
Yeah.
To really increase your editing workflow, you need a light up keyboard, I reckon. Which I have here.
Yes.
But no, the advantage of these fancy things, and it's worth getting, you can get macro software anywhere, but you can macro certain quick commands to things, which does speed up your workflow if you're doing a lot of repetitive tasks. Like I find, so basically what macros are, if you press a button, you can set it so it does multiple things at once, so you don't have to, Control C, Control V. I've just got them on F8, F9 for copy paste. Yeah. And then, like, so for this Jerry video, the mouth of Sauron, we had markers, and it just takes a little bit long to, like, right click, put marker, whatever. Yeah. So it's like, okay, if you just make it a button, and then you can make it that, and then get rid of it after.
Oh, for sure.
So definitely worth looking into if you're doing a lot of editing.
Yeah. No, I mean, when we started out at the very beginning, you looked into actually getting, like, an editing keyboard.
Yeah. Well, actually, I bought one.
Did you? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is I got one because it had all the quick commands on the keys.
On the keys, yeah.
Which just saved a lot of time, because this is my first time playing with editing software. This is, 2 years ago now, really.
So it says on the key.
Yeah.
Like, it's a normal...
It's just a normal keyboard,
but it also has, like, in writing what it does.
But sadly, it was really bad quality. As, like, in terms of a pure keyboard. So the switches weren't great, and then I think the F key was a bit mushy, and then sometimes it would double press, and I was like, for the cost of this I'd rather just get another keyboard and learn. So I have a keyboard for editing and a keyboard for typing.
Yes.
And this one also works for games too. And also the biggest tip I have from what we did, like the mouth of Sauron video, and if you're filming anything that takes multiple days, is to make sure at the end of it, grab a bottle of wine, go out onto your balcony, enjoy the sun, and just relax with some music on.
Yes, that was great yesterday, because we are really getting into spring now. Getting some lovely weather.
The weather's gorgeous here. I think we're over 20 degrees.
Yeah. It's really warm today.
It's hot.
And luckily we do have a balcony, and so I'm just making
making use of
because
that.
that doesn't really count as like spending an hour outside when you're still actually.
Although it was funny, so like in the UK anyway, we've got an hour restriction on exercise. Although it is guidelines, whatever. But we were
More
laughing
like
at people.
Guidelines.
We're laughing at people going out for runs and
Yeah,
being like,
like,
we are
"Oh,
timing
timing
you going back home to the police.
Yeah.
Just for a glass of wine, like, hello.
Imagine that. That would be so petty. No, but it was nice because like we were sitting on the balcony. Our neighbor from downstairs was sitting
In the garden.
Yeah. Yeah. So we had like a little chit chat, and that's just nice.
It's chill. But it's nice just to remember and take your time and enjoy the little things.
Oh yeah, I mean that's like one of the best feelings I feel like on a film set is like the days themselves can be so stressful, but then afterwards to be like, we made it and we made it together. Yeah. Like because we're all part of this and stuff. Because like with all the pressure and all the intensity, it is easy to get irritated and irritable, and I don't know, maybe get into small fights with people.
Not that we ever fight.
No, I don't think we have on film sets and stuff.
But there was definitely things, I mean, like, they were just a bit annoying, so I think it was the Friday was the final day of filming. Where, like, okay, we woke up and we're like, okay, we need to reshoot the scene where the Lint Chocolate Bunny came out, because we started off doing it with Boba Fett, but Boba Fett was one of the banner guy as well. Yeah. So we didn't think to use the bunny. They're like, okay, cool, we'll do that. But we didn't do that for that scene. So okay, cool. We missed a Gandalf scene, the first one, so let's reshoot that. Get the costume on again, and then the curtain opening, the Black Gates opening there's actually a pan up, which we didn't realize. Yeah. Okay, redo that. And I definitely think like getting up in the morning and be like, right, okay, let's
doing reshoots.
And it's just 3 little things, but they're all so different. So it's not a case like, oh, we'll film all the Gandalf scenes in a row. It's like, this one, okay, right, you're on. So definitely stuff like that. Yeah. There is that potential to get irritated, and it's just remember, like, okay, you are having fun. Yes. That's key. If you're not enjoying it, don't do it. Yeah. But I think we
I mean, the best thing is to enjoy it once you've done.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. But it's little things like that. I think that's where the potential to get annoyed is, but you have to just be like, it's just a tiny little thing, and just get on with it.
Exactly.
But yeah, it went really smoothly. I think it's really funny. Still cracks me up a little bit. I think when I was rendering it and it took 6 versions to get the render right, I was definitely like... Yeah. So I remember I called you in and I was like, can you watch this with me? Because I keep finding errors. And I think it's done, but just watch it. Yeah. And I was sitting there deadpan like...
It was like the 6th render where you were like, is this actually funny? And I was like, it's kind of hard to find it funny after the 4th time you've watched it, and what you're actually doing is looking for mistakes.
The wrong things, yeah.
So it's hard to find it funny, but
is this
I know.
Funny? I was like, no, I think
the reaction we've gotten so far. And you also said very, very truly, like, as long as we find it funny, it's worth doing, really. Because
a couple of people have said, like, oh, I hope it goes viral and stuff. And while obviously that would be amazing,
yes.
And
if you share it,
share around, and it would obviously help the channel out. It's not the kind of content we're pumping out all the time, so it's not like people probably get annoyed by our daily podcast. Then like once every couple of weeks a funny video.
Jeez, I think that's a wrong approach to be like, I want this to go viral.
Because
then you get into like the region of like people who film themselves giving a homeless person like $100, and you're like, that is so wrong. Like, yes, it's a good thing you're doing, but also for the absolute worst reasons. So yeah, no,
it definitely
we're
don't
enjoying
get to
it.
that. But as long as we're having fun making it, I don't really care.
And I hope you can tell. Like, I think that's the best thing, because if we actually do have fun, usually that projects.
No, definitely. And it's the same with these. Like, I mean, we didn't film a podcast for a couple of days just because we spent the time filming. It's like, we could sit in front of the camera and chat, but it's like, you're tired, you're not really feeling it. Don't do it then. Just take your time.
Exactly.
So yeah, hope you're all staying safe, and
a happy Easter one more time.
Yeah, happy Easter. That means I have to bloody edit this all night. It's fine.
Well, it's Easter tomorrow still. Easter Monday.
Easter Monday. Perfect. Happy Easter Monday, folks.
Anyways.
Oh, man. Yeah, I think we'll call it a day. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed. So, in case you can't tell, this is meant to be buck teeth, and this is a bunny ear for Jerry.
That's how far my creativity goes.
Yeah, it's better than mine. So, there you go. But just in case you couldn't tell, because I couldn't.
It's half. So you can, it's not a complete disguise, otherwise you wouldn't know it's Jerry. That's why it's only half
Yeah.
I'm just making up excuses.
Yeah, let's cut it. No, yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Yeah.